But first, right now here at 5 on WHAS 11 News, as we look at downtown Louisville from the south, very dangerous heat gripping Kentuckiana for the next few days. It's really felt like 100 degrees, and when you went outside today, you could tell it even higher out there today. I hope you're staying safe. Please take care of animals, get them out of this heat, and of course, check on your elderly neighbors. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us at 5. I'm Doug Proffitt. Meteorologist Christina San Juan is here right now. Christina, you've been tracking those real-time temperatures. They're really high and all over the place.
That's exactly right, Doug. You know, I just got back from Florida, but it feels like I never left with just how incredibly steamy it is across the entire area, and that's why we do have a heat advisory that's in effect right now, lasting all the way until 9 o'clock for your Tuesday night. That includes just about the entire area. Nobody is excluded from this extreme heat. We're sitting at 94 degrees right now at Muhammad Ali International Airport, but it feels more like 99 degrees, just down from the triple-digit heat index that we had just about a half hour ago. 91 Bowman Field for your real temperatures, but then feeling more like the upper 90s. Here we go across the entire area. We have plenty of heat index values that are well above 100 degrees, feeling like 104 from Shepherdsville over to Shelbyville, feels like 101 in Frankfort. And we're going to have to get used to this because as we wake up tomorrow morning, an incredibly mild start to the day as temperatures are only dropping down just barely below 80 degrees to kick off your Tuesday. We wake up and we do it pretty much all over again tomorrow afternoon. Again, another day where it's going to be feeling like the triple digits. The one difference with tomorrow, though, is that we will be tracking a couple chances for pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We'll walk you through that on Futurecast here in just a bit. Doug.
Christina, thank you very much. Now to the late-breaking story today. 2 days after the attempt on his life, Donald Trump names a new running mate late this afternoon. It happened at day one of the Republican National Convention underway in Milwaukee. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance gets the pick. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell was booed and cheered as he threw Kentucky's delegation votes behind Donald Trump.
Madam Chairman, the Commonwealth of Kentucky proudly cast 46 votes for the next president, Donald J. Trump.
Now, as former President Trump became the official nominee for the Republican Party today, new developments coming out of that investigation on the attempt on his life. Here are the latest headlines at this moment from the Saturday night shooting. The FBI has gained access to the cell phone of 20-year-old Thomas Crooks. They have finished searching his home and car, and they are still looking for a motive. Again, the motive still unknown. Investigators say the rifle used in the shooting is owned by Crooks' dad. Crooks allegedly told his father that he was going to the range for practice shooting on Saturday. Former President Trump is expected to speak at the RNC with an entirely new speech after the attempted assassination. Here's ABC's Mary Alice Parks reporting from Milwaukee.
Republicans gathering in Milwaukee to formally nominate former President Donald Trump as their GOP presidential candidate. This just 2 days after he survived an assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania. The roll call is a formality.
The great state of Iowa proudly cast all of its 40 votes for President Donald J. Trump.
As the former president clinched the nomination in March. And we now know who will be running alongside Trump as his choice for vice president. Trump choosing Ohio Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate. Security at the RNC a top concern after the assassination attempt this weekend, but Secret Service says they do not anticipate a change to their security plans. The investigation into the shooting deepening. The FBI says 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks fired the shots that injured Trump and 2 other people and killed one man, 50-year-old Corey Compurator. Investigators believe Crooks acted alone with no criminal history or history of mental illness. The FBI looking through phone and computer records, talking to those who knew him, trying to determine a motive. 2 law enforcement sources tell ABC News the building where Crooks climbed to the roof and opened fire was the staging area for a local police tactical team there to watch over the crowd. It's unclear how Crooks gained access. The Secret Service is facing major questions of how Crooks was able to get so close to Trump. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is promising an independent review. Now, in that announcement on Truth Social, Trump talked about Senator Vance's work in the Senate as a businessman and, of course, his book, Hillbilly Elegy. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, Milwaukee.
Now, right here tonight, we are learning more about the victims from Saturday's shooting. A total of 4 people were shot, and that includes the former president. The man who was shot and killed is Corey Compratore, a 50-year-old former fire chief. He lived 30 miles outside of Pittsburgh. His family posting tributes online. He served decades with the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Company. And when he heard the shots, witnesses say he dove immediately to protect his family. The other 2 people wounded were David Dutch and James Copenhaver. Both are listed in the hospital right now in stable condition. And today, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg, a survivor of political violence himself, spoke out against the assassination attempt, saying the nation cannot allow political violence to become the norm.
We can't become numb to the violence that's taking place in our country. We can't allow political violence to become the norm. And we can't think that this won't happen again if we don't all change just a little bit.
Quintez Brown is accused of firing 6 shots at Greenberg in February of 2022 during his campaign for mayor. Brown missed in the shooting, but a bullet did graze Greenberg's sweater right in the back. The mayor says the memories of the shooting he survived during his campaign are still very fresh in his memory. The mayor also added his condolences to the victims of the shooting over the weekend and their families. We invite you to stay with WHAS 11 News Tonight, ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting live from Milwaukee, coming up at 6:30 after WHAS 11 News at 6. Also then at 10 tonight, it's ABC's live coverage beginning of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, right before the WHAS 11 night team at 11. We're also going to be streaming the convention live on our on-demand app, WHAS 11 Plus, and our website on this big day with a selection of a VP candidate for Donald Trump, J.D. Vance. Right now here at 5, we want to move to more of our top local stories. The loss of a beloved Kentucky military veteran and his wife has left many in Harden County in grief today. Bill Edwards is being described as a gentle giant who was not afraid to enforce the law and cheer on the next generation. WHAS 11's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Emma Gefter talked with one of his colleagues, taking the day to remember him.
Harden County Deputy Billy Edwards recently took on the job as a school resource officer for Creekside Elementary. The loss of him and his wife have the community reflecting on his impact throughout the years. Edwards worked for the Elizabethtown Police Department for 24 years before retiring and taking the role with the Harden County Sheriff's Office. It was on Sunday night when Kentucky State Police responded to a collision on an exit ramp onto Western Kentucky Parkway. They discovered Edwards and his wife Kathy deceased at the scene. Chief Deputy David Lee got emotional while speaking about his longtime friend.
To a lot of us, it's a loss personally. So, you know, he's going to be missed. A loss for us professionally, as well as the county and as well as EPD's hurting.
Right before his passing, the Creekside Elementary School principal says Edwards was able to make a noticeable impact on students, saying that he offered mentorship and made kids feel comfortable around law enforcement.
To hear him talk about those kids and stuff like that, and Terry and I talked about it, it was like he was a grandpa to all those kids.
In Harden County, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 on your side.
And the sheriff's office says that the Edwards will not be left alone as they plan to have a deputy by their side at every moment until their burial occurs. The school says they plan to offer grief counseling for any student who needs it, and they plan to celebrate his time with the school once the next semester begins in Harden County. Right now, here tonight, we want to give you the latest on an LMPD detective now charged with driving under the influence. Police arrested Detective Kyle Carroll early yesterday morning in the Clifton neighborhood right on Frankfort Avenue. Officers said they detected alcohol on his breath after Carroll hit a parked car there. Police conducted a sobriety test and found the detective was under the influence. A Metro Police spokesperson says Carroll was placed on administrative leave as they investigate. He expected to be back in court at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And in the first meeting of the state JCPS task force today, members heard how Kentucky's largest district operates and spends its money. Our Ian Hardwitt and photojournalist Jessica Farley are reporting on how JCPS is moving forward and finding common ground with Kentucky legislators.
This was Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio's view as lawmakers and parents or even teachers on the task force asked him questions about the efficiency of the school district he runs.
Unless it pertains to how we can do better, then we don't have time for the gripes, moans, and groans.
Representative Mike Nemes leads the task force, which first heard from Dr. Polio on the top challenges facing the district. The superintendent said staffing shortages were their biggest problem. He also shared concern over growing numbers of students who miss every 1 in 10 days of school and the time students have lost in the classroom. Transportation issues at the district, which the DOJ is looking into, contributed to millions of lost instructional minutes this last school year. With cuts to magnet transportation, Dr. Polio hopes to recover the time lost.
One of the toughest of my career, without a doubt, but committed to making sure kids are in school for every single minute of the day.
Additionally, out of the 8,000 students in this summer's Backpack League program, he says the district is making up even more time. Dr. Polio also showed an increased graduation rate, up nearly 6% from pre-COVID levels, as another JCPS improvement. The number of JCPS students with trade school certifications or college credit also increased from the pre-COVID era from 50% to 80%. Those increases come as JCPS faces an issue both the superintendent and task force chair agreed on: the increased needs of students.
Teachers and principals are expected to do so many things that probably a generation ago were not expected in schools.
A teacher didn't have to be a counselor back in the day. Back in the day, you hear a lot of us old guys says, well, you behaved in school, because the worst thing you want to hear is they're going to call home. Well, now they maybe don't even have the number to call home.
Representative Nemes said the task force is here to help with the pen of the legislature. Dr. Polio challenged him to look at the root causes of issues like absenteeism instead of solutions involving more truancy officers. Despite challenges, Dr. Polio is looking ahead.
I've never been more optimistic about the future of JCPS than I am right now.
The hope comes as parents, the task force, and the federal government are watching to see how this year's transportation plan is executed. In Frankfort, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS11, on your side.
Dr. Polio also giving an update, saying once TARC drivers join the JCPS bus force, at least 6 to 7 schools will have magnet transportation restored. Now, that's the first time we've heard Dr. Polio give a hard number on that. Again, he said 6 to 7 schools. The next task force meeting is July 29th with their complete findings on the district due by December 1st.